last night these two bouncers and one of them's alright, the other one's a scary, and his way or no way, totalitarian. He's got no time for you, looking or breathing how he doesn't want you to. So step out the queue, he makes examples of you, and there's no you can say behind the go through to the bit where you pay, and you realise then that it's finally the time to walk back past 10,000 nights in a line, and you can swap jumpers and make another move. It's still in your brain, you've got something to prove to all the smirking faces and the boys in black. Why can't it be pleasant? Why can't he have a laugh? He's got his hand in your chest, he wants to give you a tug. Well, secretly I think he wants you all to kick off. He wants outside everywhere and balls as well. He's just something to talk about, a story to tell you. Well, it's a proper tell us all when I put it down to fate. I said 1,000 million things that I could never say this morning. Got too deep, but how deep is too deep? This town's a different town today. So this town's a different town to what it was last night. You consider that on a Sunday. And that girl's a different girl today. So that girl's a different girl to where you kissed last night. You consider that on a Sunday. Of course not. Why to never tell us all when I put it down to fate? I thought 1,000 million things that I could never think this morning. Got too deep, but how deep is too deep? Last night, what we talked about, it made so much sense, but now the haze has ascended, it doesn't make no sense anymore. So last night, what we talked about, it made so much sense, but now the haze has ascended, it doesn't make no sense anymore. Oh.
What's up, guys? It's Wednesday. We alive, we breathing. All right. How y'all doing? Welcome to Tradetopia live sessions. My name is Mike Navarrete. I've been trading for 10 years. So we've been doing this for a hot second. Just about 10 years. I'm a month or two away. But, yeah, guys, if you're not in the community, somehow you're on the stream, but you're not in the community, scan the code on the left. And then for all of you that are looking to accelerate your journey, get in-depth work, looking through what's happening within you, building out your trading system, having something to actually follow. You want to actually keep your funded accounts and get to the payout. And you want to do this with way more hands-on work, then feel free to join our private syndicate. This is where the magic really happens. So if you want actual mentorship with me, scan the code on the right. Now, with that being said, appreciate you guys for just being here in general and working on yourselves, contributing to the community here, the chat, and everything. So I love to see it. So appreciate you guys just liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff. I know we have Puccini in here. We got Carlos in here. Gabriel, Ibreneth. Hola a todos. All my people from Latin America, ¿cómo están? Izzy, what's up? What's up, Joe, Sen, Linda, Julie. Hello, first live session. Welcome. Welcome, Julie. Seth, how you doing, brother? Corey, what up? Love a bit of Arctic Monkeys. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Trader Nomad, what's good? Buenos dias. Juan Alcantar, how are you, brother? All right, let me see here. Okay, buys on YM. Oh, we'll go into that here in a second. What's up, cuz? Much love. What's good? I'm here. Just popped in. What's up, Patrick? Chicago coming home. Welcome. All right, let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. Okay. It's game time. So, let's go over here. And here we have it. Okay. So yesterday we had our buys trigger over here, going up, giving us over a 2R. So taking out these highs, trading up here for a little bit before working its way back down. So we had a nice play. If you guys were on yesterday's stream, you were ready for this buying opportunity. And then same thing goes if you were just plugged in the community. We also talked about buying Dow in here. So if you always click over to Tradetopia Trades, you're going to see trades that I'm working on and just kind of talking about in real time. So yesterday had the chart set up, looking for entries right around 44,900, and that's what we ended up having yesterday. So this is for futures YM. Obviously, if you're trading CFDs, so like US 30, Dow, whatever, it's the prices are going to be different. With CFDs, all the brokers, they don't keep the same prices for whatever reason. So, but yeah, the setup is always going to be the same. So anyways, you were in position to win, especially if you are trading prop firm futures. Your trades are probably closed out somewhere over here. So I actually ended up playing out in your favor. And then we worked our way lower. Like I also mentioned in that post yesterday, I talked about how I wanted to see us drop into NQ. I wanted NQ to get into this key zone and see if we can get reversals from there. And so that is what happened. We saw Nasdaq work its way all the way down to here. And we're starting to see a little bit more motion to the upside. All right. So from here, what's up, Greg? Morning. Hope you're enjoying the mountains. Daniel, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días. All right, so we have Dow and YM. Now, there's a couple things that I am curious about. Couple key factors. Number one, we have not broken below this low, so 15-minute time frame, Dow Jones still I'd say bullish. We don't really seem to have too much demand below 44,900. When the market dips below, it keeps wanting to go higher. However, bless you. However, I will add the following. So it's right now, we're going to compare Dow and we're going to compare Nasdaq, and we can also keep in consideration S&P 500. So let me just quickly check that out, see how that's going over here. So S&P as well worked its way into the zone, a very deep pullback, borderline making equal lows over here. So I just want to bring this up. See how we have right there. We worked our way to here. So just to give perspective, very deep pullback on ES. And I do still have this marked up over here. So I am going to keep this in mind in case we're going to dip down just one last time. Same goes here with NASDAQ. There is some more imbalance, and I do actually have a couple zones that I've been waiting for. So we still could push lower with NASDAQ. Now, let's compare NQ and Dow Jones. Get some perspective here. Now, here was the high from yesterday on Dow. So we saw a huge bullish move to the upside. You maybe already have forgotten how bullish Dow Jones actually started, considering how bearish things ended on the day. But remember, the start of yesterday was an absolute rocket, just blazing through. Then it all starts crumbling down, melting and melting and melting and melting. And Q as well, similar perspectives. Like, it's just bleeding out, just dying, withering away. We see NASDAQ just yesterday alone drops over 400 points. So a significant move. And if you were chasing NQ buys, I mean, yeah, you suffered greatly. So the thing that I said on stream yesterday was, look, don't get caught up trying to catch the falling knife on NQ when it is the bear between these. NASDAQ was dropping significantly more aggressive than Dow. So, I said either we wait and see if we get selling opportunities, or really just not worth trading this at all. And I still think we could get sells with NASDAQ. It's just a matter of the fact that we're way up here and we got a long way to go. So there is definitely, and there's a couple other ideas that we'll get into, but there's a lot going on over here. So Dow yesterday gives us an aggressive move to the upside here. You see just an absolutely epic push beyond these highs, playing all the way up here, and then it starts to crumble. The downside with selling anything Dow Jones related, anything US 30 YM related, anything over here, is that we have more bullish momentum on Dow than we have with NQ. So if Dow Jones keeps trading faster to the upside, so if you see this just the stronger bull, so it's just moving up at a faster pace, then it's still a better opportunity to take shorts with NQ. So if there's going to be an opportunity for Dow, I wouldn't say it's going to be for the sell, at least not right now. It looks to me like any sort of selling opportunity is going to come from NASDAQ. Now, all over here, this is all New York session. Mainly equal highs, liquidity, just choppy movement. So nothing here that is really too enticing. We'd have to go back to the beginning of the New York session in order to really see anything. And there's two things, right? There's the push to the upside here, right with New York Open before it all crumbles. And then we have one more push to the upside before it the imbalance and the bleeding really starts. So here's where I think we could see the market give us a reversal off New York Open and then off of this right there. So just a few minutes after the new hour, we pump to the upside here, and then the market starts to work its way down. So selling in this zone, we take out some liquidity, we lure in a last batch of buyers, and then it just bleeds out. So from here, these are the two zones that I think we could see some shorts from NQ. If we get into here and NQ is lagging behind, so we're just noticing, let's say Dow continue bullish and NQ is slower to move up, I'm open to a sell over here and seeing how that goes. Considering there's another zone right above it, we'll kind of play it by ear and see where we take profit. Maybe something, where we take like over here. So this could be a scenario where we're looking to short, like this. And here's where we saw previous levels of resistance, which could act as a floor. So things like this, conservative exits, could still be worth it. Now, on the flip side, what if there's buying opportunities, right? So let's take a look at it. We see right after London session kicks off, we see a nice move down, so an aggressive move down here, and then the market picks up momentum. So this is the low of London session. So we see a big push down right into the zone. This establishes London's low. This clears out some liquidity that was building up during Tokyo Asian session. And then the market starts to absolutely rip from here. So now we're starting to see definitely more momentum up here. We've been trading above this structure, this high, for hours. Meanwhile, if you take a look at NQ, if you look at Nasdaq has been nowhere near as bullish all of this time. So even then, like if we look at kind of the similar timing, the market starts to drop a little bit here. It comes up, it only moves sideways. It dips down, it fills the imbalance, and it's just kind of struggling to work anywhere higher. If you take a look at where we're seeing Dow is trading, it's approaching the Tokyo highs over here, which Nasdaq is nowhere near yet. So I see possibilities for a buying opportunity with Dow Jones as well. And honestly, what would I think make this really line up is if we were to see NQ go lower again, especially if we see, for example, if we were to see Nasdaq, keep doing its thing, maybe break below the low, chop up a little bit, break below Tokyo low. So now we're seeing significant sessions just being liquidated. So if we were to see something like this, the market giving us just this kind of move, and at the same time, that's when we end up getting Dow to trade over here. That's where I think this is how we could get a really good move. So if we kind of time this out like this, then this is how I see this playing out. So especially if we get below this first, like if the timing is we get below here and Dow is trading right into the zone, yeah, I think this looks like a great buying opportunity. And same thing goes with S&P. Yes, more than likely, I would like to see it break below these lows and get down here as well. So something like that, So for now, in the meantime, we'll let the market, do its thing. I don't know what direction it's going to start, but I have a feeling on where it could go. We have New York open here in 4 minutes. So we're only 4 minutes away from some serious volatility. Now, as I continue here, I have some perspective with gold and silver as well. So, I don't know how many of you took this trade, but silver gave us our entry. Let's go. I was snoring probably, But, yeah, man, we finally got our silver buy. I don't know if you guys remember, but yesterday, we were talking about the market working its way lower, having more opportunities, and silver finally triggered over here. It happened during a London session, but we had the sell-off, takes out the lows. You have the imbalance. It plays beautifully into this zone. I picked this specifically because we had support here before, resistance. So, yeah, what a precise entry. And this thing is absolutely ripping well over a 3.6 R at the moment. Gold also did a fantastic job at reacting off of these imbalances over here. So the market came down into this level. So we had the market came back, became very efficient, and now it's ripping to the upside. So what what is our next option? Buenos días, El Salvador. ¿Cómo estás, Steffi? Un placer verte por aquí. Let's see. Cuando señalas los altos y bajos de las sesiones anteriores, al superarlos respectivamente, ¿es una confirmación de mitigación? Es como una captura de liquidez, no es necesariamente mitigación. So yeah, we took a gold loss yesterday, and it wasn't to retake. It wasn't getting in again for the same reason. So I didn't take a silver loss. I took a gold loss yesterday, and honestly, it was because, and I actually talked about it on the session, the difference here, because we were looking for a shakeout play, and it was one because there's more incentive to rebalance here, so I didn't take anything gold related. The play was on silver, and it's just an independent idea. There was a massive sell-off that lures in sellers, liquidates buyers, and then the market runs. So there was a pending order here. There's a huge selling position that isn't going to stay in drawdown forever. So the market comes back, it picks up, it closes out its sell positions. Obviously, that opens up liquidity, margin, and then the setup can go here. So what did the loss show you that made you confident on the retake? The loss didn't have to show me anything to be confident on a new setup. So like a prior loss doesn't influence the next trade. And that's a huge, honestly, thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of people get so caught up on losing. They get so stuck on it feels like you have to figure everything out all the time, but you don't. There's some losses that they will give you new information, new context. And by the way, we do have New York Open happening literally right now. We're seeing huge pump with Dow. Nice move to the upside. No trades for me yet or anything like that. But we are clearing Asian session liquidity. So the previous session, anyone that was selling, they finally get taken out here. So we'll let that unfold. But to continue with these ideas here, I don't necessarily need to better answer your question. The loss didn't have to show me anything to be confident on a new setup. It was just a new setup, completely new setup that follows all of the confirmations that would put me into the market. So that's my perspective on that. Obviously, you can extract perspective, lessons, question your behavioral decisions, but if everything was disciplined, then you followed everything with your loss, and then you just took a good loss, and then that's all it is. What I will add, though, is gold ate up the drop very quickly. As you can see, it traded right back into Tuesday's London session highs over here, whereas silver is a bit slower on the way up. So as great as a silver buy was, there's a couple things that I'm curious about. One of them being the sell. So, for example, now that we're over here, we actually had a move right here. So silver yesterday at 7:30 a.m. Central Time takes out the highs. So we see a liquidity capture. Takes out the highs and then works its way down. So I think we could actually short this here based on just how we keep moving, because look at where gold's at. Gold's up here, way up here. Gold's trading beyond that price action. So with silver lagging behind, we might just get a good short opportunity and catch something. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to drop all the way back. It could, but we can definitely get a nice move. We'll see how we work our way over here. But sometimes we see the market do something like this. So, for example, where is this thing? So we could see something like this. And then where we exit could be based off of previous levels of support or liquidity. Just depends on how we get there. You know what I mean? So something like that. But we got our alert set. We're ready for it if it comes there. Okay. Now, all right. Just like I was kind of talking about. So we're seeing NASDAQ start to melt down. So here's how things are starting. We'll get into a little bit more detail. NASDAQ here with New York Open gave us a nice pump to the upside first. So right before New York Open, we start to pick up momentum. Takes out a little bit of, some sideways movement. And then it immediately starts to drop right into here, clearing London lows. So big move down. Right now we're seeing an aggressive move to the upside. 40 points just flying up here. Not my favorite. Like here we see a spike up, comes down. So you might be thinking, oh, cool. Should just sell right here? Well, let's hold on. Let's let the market prove to us that it wants to stay bearish. Let's let it actually, be bearish first. Just because it broke a low doesn't mean that it's creating a bearish trend. All right, here we go. So Dow is still ripping to the upside over here. So, yeah, working up here. Cool. We're seeing a big difference in price action between NASDAQ and Dow. Like I mentioned before, seeing Dow Jones sell off from like up here, this is what I would like to take something like this. The issue is that NASDAQ is just so much more bearish. So if NQ wants to go up, then it could also keep taking Dow up. The difference is that these are not really moving in unison. They're not correlating perfectly. They're kind of going like one goes up, one goes down. So they're kind of back and forth, but we'll see. ¿Cómo ves que plata era una entrada independiente? Yo pensé que oro estaba regresando y esperaba que llegara a la zona que teníamos atrás. No entré en plata, Daniel, estaba durmiendo. Pero sí eran diferentes jugadas. Entonces, por ejemplo, esto llega... Después te lo enseño, pero no tienes como culpa si no entraste sin nada. Inner wealth, you said, okay, that makes sense. Find myself always looking to take something from a loss. In a way, almost infatuated with what I did wrong and I can do better. And I like that. Honestly, it's a healthy perspective. Like you just get to learn a lot. I would say I wouldn't let the loss paralyze you from making a new decision, though. So, for example, like I took a gold long here, right? This is what was a shakeout setup for me. What I picked up from this was a higher probability trade is not when it just takes out the previous like London and Tokyo lows, but we were really, really close to the low of the week. And there's a lot. So there's like way more liquidity below this low. And there is definitely incentive to fill the imbalance. So had this move, right, had this drop taken out that low and then did the same identical setup, I think our chances of winning would have been significantly better. So if this low here, because this is what the spike down and then it came right back up, if this would have cleared out the low of the week and filled the imbalance, and then we would have seen the exact same like pattern, basically, I think that's the trade that does play out. So, yeah, I still took something away from it, but I didn't allow it to get in the way of, something new. So just some perspective. Okay, so right now we are seeing more and more bearish momentum from Nasdaq. We had, just before New York open, market starts to push up. So this definitely lures in some buyers, climbs its way up here, and then it just tanks. So we are starting to see some more bearish structure here. We're trading below the London lows. I will add that there is a little bit of concern for me just because we do still have London highs, Tokyo highs. So we do have more reason to kind of clear more liquidity before this drops. So I really want to see if NASDAQ is truly going to stay bearish before we, just race to take a position here. Yeah, so definitely want to wait on that. And yo, guys, what's up? I see we got 100 plus on. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. If you're enjoying the session, like the session, subscribe, get locked in. Feel free to join the communities if you haven't already. What up, Dan B? I see you. Brandon, hello. Missed you guys. Didn't see y'all in here. Tio, welcome. Now, on top of that, let's see. You said look at S&P. Corey, where are your manners, bro? Please and thank you would be nice, man. S&P clearing out London highs. I like that. That's good. Take out the highs from London session. Clear out some liquidity. Seeing it work its way down. My B, LMAO. I'm playing. So, yeah, S&P similar in its movement. We had it pump up here. And then on New York open, we see it sweep liquidity and then drop. So, yeah, S&P looks good. S&P. So here's the 15-second if we want to give it a little different perspective here. You got it from basically the open right there. So yeah, we could see something happening here. The longer this trades here, the better. Dow doing an excellent job sweeping liquidity, playing into imbalance, taking out liquidity here as well, and now dropping. So we're actually seeing a variety of motion here. A good movement, bearish movement across the board. ES dropping down like that. So we could see a sell here in the future. NASDAQ continuing to push bearish. Same thing goes here. Could see a sell over here in the future. And then Dow Jones also losing momentum, pushing lower and lower as we talked about. And so Dow looks like it could create a shakeout play. You guys know what that's like. The market sweeps liquidity, so key levels. So this took out key areas, which is the Asian session highs. So anyone that was buying for the last, or anyone that was selling for the last 22 hours or so, 23 hours, and had any sort of sells open, obviously they're liquidated. But the thing is this is very important. Which would we rather play out? Would you rather sell Dow, wait for a pullback, or would you rather sell NQ that's already just been bearish in the first place? So this to me is starting to put the pieces together. At the moment, I would rather sell NASDAQ. So I wouldn't sell right now. Not right now, obviously. I'm with the pullback coming into our zones, this is where I would want to be selling. And I would prefer buying Dow, YM. So we'll see how things happen. These could just keep dropping like we're seeing here right now. This could be the scenario, and then we buy out of here. Price action does have an opportunity. Yeah, I saw your text, Kevin. So what we have going on is look at how fast we came down and we're coming right back up. So this is not really giving me the need to sell this yet. I'm not looking to sell this quite yet. When the market came down, we're not creating like lows here, and we're just seeing the lack of demand at these levels. When the market comes down and then right back up, this just shows us that no, there actually is demand at these areas, that there are buyers over here. Mike, can you go over GU? Yeah, I can do that. Give me a bit. Is that silver sell not mitigated? It looks mitigated on CFDs. Not based on my perspective here, because so for silver, the market doesn't start really working its way higher until like over here. This comes down to here, so I guess it depends on where you want to look at it. For me, it looks like we just kind of played out of the low. So structure, it was more so rebalancing. But mitigation, not quite. I still have it right there. Okay, so yeah, I mean, for me, NQ still seems like a much more probable short in this zone. Let me just delete this because we don't need this anymore. And look at where we're at. All right, so what did I talk about? I said NQ has room to drop. We would want to see this clear out the low of the week, the previous session lows. Fantastic. So this is now a liquidity capture event. We have S&P 500 here. So ES also coming down, breaking through these lows. Now it's trading in the imbalance. Cool. I also think that we could get below these Tokyo lows as well with ES. So at the moment, S&P very bearish. What the heck? All right. We have Nasdaq very bearish, trading below now. And we have Dow that's just running its own course. It's on its own, it's in its own game. So I do believe that we can go lower and that this is still going to be a valid play. I'm not going to short Dow. Could it drop? It could. But could it just go higher? Yeah. There's no setup. A lot of people, and I see this happen a lot. This has happened yesterday. Same thing. This is literally the same thing. Everyone wants to take a trade because they go, it's one of two things. It's either, oh, what if Dow goes down because Nasdaq already went down? Okay, the one, it's not really how it works. But two, okay, well, what if Nasdaq goes up because Dow has already gone up so much? So what's that going to do to Dow? It's going to keep taking it higher. So just kind of guessing and assuming that the market's going to go in a direction, like we are, that is assumptions. That's not like a system-based idea unless you have the proof. If you have your own data that shows if something like that happens, then it'll happen with the other one. And you can confidently give, 50, 100 examples which give you a positive risk reward. Then, I mean, yeah, be my guest. So as much as it's like, oh, well, what if Dow melts just like Nasdaq did? It could. It could. I'm not saying it can't. But for me, why would I sell what has the least amount of momentum? You know what I mean? Like, why would I take the short that has the least amount of momentum? So, and you'll catch me saying this a lot. And some of these trades play out. Some of the ones that say, or I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to stay out. I'm cool. Some of those play out. Some of them, but more of them don't. And I'm all about preserving capital. All about preserving capital. So I'm cool because here's another scenario. Remember, our brains are wired to want to fill patterns. Our brains are like naturally like we just want to be right. So here's another way to look at it. Well, what if NASDAQ wants to go up? What if this is just a liquidity sweep and this wants to go up? Then what happens to Dow? Just like we think, oh, well, what if it sells off like NQ did? Well, what if NQ gets bullish and wants to fill all this up? What could that do to Dow? Could that send it flying even higher? Yeah. Could that take this into all of this imbalance up here? Yeah. Now, if it does work its way down, I'm definitely cool with that. I'm down for that. I have no issues with that because I like the buy setup anyways. So I'm okay with staying out of the sell so that I can take a buy. Like, I'm okay with missing out on that move. I don't need to take every move. I don't need to catch the whole drop, the whole motion. No. I'm cool with that. How did you get that shadow chart projection? That's cool. Discovered it yesterday. I'd seen this button, but I just never clicked on it. It's the ghost feed. I haven't used this either. Bars pattern. Oh, okay. That's dope. So if I wanted to just copy something over, there's this bars pattern thing. So like, let's say we wanted to do something like this. It just takes the same thing. So that's another trippy option. But yeah, it's the ghost feed. That's the one I'm using. Forecast. What does forecast do? Oh. Okay. All right, anyways. So yeah, NASDAQ falling off a cliff. It said, yeah, fuck it, I'm out. This is bleeding out, getting down to, and right now there's an order block right here. So when you see, and this is what people tend to take trades like this, they see a little a little order block here. You used to wick down in the move to the upside. But if you're looking to get in front of what has the most momentum, usually it doesn't end well. So if this is selling off the most aggressively and you want to buy it, usually you're going to just get punched in the mouth a few times. And then maybe after taking your 7th trade at it, then you catch a decent trade. And the funny thing is, you'll feel like you won. Even though you got your ass kicked the whole time, you'll feel like you won. So, oh man. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, look, we can just wait it out. We got it over here. We're chilling. Okay, so I was requested to look at GBP USD, and so I shall. So this is now, we'll take a look at some majors. So GU, I'm looking at futures, but same thing, 6B, GU, same shit. So here we have the continuation, bearish momentum continues. So the dollar is picking up more strength here, pushing all of this down. The pound has been dropping less aggressively as everything else, like just relatively. Actually, yeah. So the question is, actually, I don't know what you're looking for here. I'm not really sure what your setup is. Let me get a little bit more detail. With Australian, I'm not really seeing much except for the sell way up here, so we're pretty far from that. In regards to taking a buy position, this looked like it was already mitigated during Asian session. Then we see another push down here, some imbalance. So my question is, I don't really like these setups. Okay, I see this. So right here, huge sell-off before the market rallied. This is a London session drop. So, okay, this I can understand. Maybe looking for a long in here. And the market drops into here. Comes up one more time. The final drop and then the continuation. So, are you looking for maybe a long in here? Swept down, consolidation, build up liquidity, and then it runs. It's possible. All right, look at, wow, NASDAQ melting through. ES finally breaking the low and then now playing into this zone. So S&P now getting into this area. Would we buy ES? What's up, Debt? That's a trippy looking name. No, we would not buy ES. Why? Why would we not buy S&P? Well, it's also dropping way more aggressively than Dow. ES is falling off a cliff. NQ is falling off a cliff, almost at a buy zone for us. A way lower zone. This is based off of August 6th price action. Meanwhile, Dow's like, yeah, I've dropped a couple points. So what's the plus side? If this Dow trade plays out the way that I think it's going to, Richard Orozco, why are you crying, bro? No llores, no llores. If this does get down to here, then guess what? We take a buy position. Now, there's a couple things that could happen. Just like this is a mitigation entry, so I do like it. But there is a chance it breaks beneath Tokyo lows. So I'm okay with taking a position here. If it mitigates and it rips, awesome. If it breaks below, then, we can go for a shakeout too. But it looks like these are going to line up really nicely with higher time frame mitigations over here. These are sell-offs that never, they never got closed out. So yeah, like I'm down for the plays over here. All right, so I'm just getting my contract set up here so I know kind of what it is that I'm looking for an entry. So I'm going to look for a buy here. And then my where to take it to, at least honestly would fill this imbalance, 3.75R. Probably going to go even higher. All right, NQ still moving. All right, we're getting closer. Here we go. About 30 points out from the zone. Look at this. You avoided all of this. All right, about 20, 25 points away from my zone here. There's a really good chance we should see NQ and play into that area. Now we're seeing S&P in this low. I should never mark this up, but yeah, we're getting right into this area there. So nice little sweet spot. Oh, my bad. Here we go. Okay, so let's see what kind of moves we get out of here. Ooh, is this going to miss us or what? This looks more like liquidity building up. So we have more because we have support over here. Still have an imbalance to target. Nasdaq also didn't quite get there, so I think we could go lower one more time. See, have an alert here. So a lot of volatility coming into the market here. Today, remember, we have the next news event for the dollar is FOMC meeting minutes. Meeting minutes is not like the interest rates, the press conference. It's not the same by any means. We do have Waller speaking in about an hour, but usually isn't. It's like an orange folder, so I'm not usually too concerned about that. A little bit of movement, but that's about it. All right, let's see how this thing wants to unfold. I'll give it a little bit of time. Let me check in on the chat. Make sure you guys are live in here. Me gusta, fire tool, entry at the open. Would you be able to look at oil? I can look at oil here in a second. What's up, Cozy? Soy alumno de Juan Pimental. Tú fuiste su mentor y ahora él es el mío. Gracias por sus enseñanzas. Claro que sí. Just passed the combine with those NQ cells. Savage. I don't know how you got into a sell there. What did you see in here? Inverted fair value gap. That's the Kevin trade. You took it like right in here or something? You said, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out. I have a different price for Dow. If you're looking at CFDs data, then you will. Like if you're trading like with the broker, then yeah, they're usually pretty different. So I already know. I think you probably saw the takeout of the high. Actually, drop the chart, Kevo. Let's see your chart. What did you see? Drop it in. Hold on. Drop it in the post right here. Did I not pin today's? Oh, hold on. Drop it in here on the live stream one. I want to see what you got. What's the difference between US 100 and YM? They're not even the same asset. So US 100 is Nasdaq. That's NQ. YM is US 30. So the patterns will be similar, but the prices will be different, Julie, based on your chart. What do you think of shakeout play at ETH? Yeah, we can check that out. So look at this bounce that we got so far on Dow. Right here we had that sell-off. So here's where it started. Now, for a mitigation, usually I like to see it break liquidity before, though. So you see how we kind of got a whole bunch of sideways movement, a lot of noise. This I've seen plenty of times where the market gets right into here. We see a bounce. It lures in more. It makes one more move that actually gets into, past this liquidity, and then it does its thing. So I wouldn't disqualify this trade yet. All right. Beyond that, looking at what else is going on. Like I mentioned, I warned yesterday. I warned you guys on taking CAD. I said not worth the buy, and for those of you that traded USD CAD, I said not worth the sell because same reasons. So, for example, here I talked about how the market with CAD futures, like everything else, it's so bearish. Like everything else has to drop even more to get here. This is like one of the first ones to get to this zone, and all of the futures had the same. All the majors had the same thing. So I said, hey, stay out of this one. Not worth it. Euro just chopping up and down, squeezing. The yen here has a setup up here for short, similar to Dow, or similar to Australian AU. So if you look at that right there, like similar timing. So I'd prefer to sell off Australian. Mike, what time are you normally doing these live sessions? The exact same time every single day. We're here from 30 minutes before New York Open, and I'm usually here for like 90 minutes, give or take. Wow. YM. Don't break our hearts. So, yes, Sarah, on Dow on the 1 hour, would that be an example of a shakeout after taking? It would be an example of a shakeout. The only issue, and the reason I wouldn't take it has nothing to do with the Dow chart. It's because NQ, Nasdaq, is way more bearish. So this more than likely would want to keep going higher and would end up breaking the high. Instead of actually like respecting it and dropping, it would probably take it out because of the correlation. Yeah, great questions, guys. I love it. Active chat. Okay, so take a look at this, guys. Right now, we saw Dow, melt down, work its way to these lows where we've already seen a lot of liquidity, a lot of retail buys still in here. So I'm not like running into taking this. I'm still very much under the belief that we're going to wick below this one more time. Not because I want to be right. That's fine. But because of the liquidity. It created more and more incentive for buyers to get in exactly here. So I think we have one more liquidity capture event, and then it runs. And on top of that, we have NASDAQ over here that still has some key levels to get to. So could still drop into here or over here. That's why, my thoughts are this bad boy can still work its way down one more time. Entonces, chicos, aquí los que me ven en español, sigo esperando que baje debajo esta liquidez y que nos dé una mitigación de esta área, encontrando equilibrio, capturando liquidez, mitigando, y eso al mismo tiempo puede posicionar temporalidad mayor del Nasdaq por aquí. Do you think Dow just played out of the 15-minute order block? It did exactly what I just said, is what I think. Obviously, I could be wrong. But it doesn't really matter. Like, this is a bounce. This, for me, is like it's just an incentive to lure in buyers one more time. Yeah. So, Bougie Bow. So basically, I do think we see, more than anything, buildup of more retail liquidity. We do see a capture of this as well. And then something like this, as soon as, when you see the market drop like this, that aggressively, it tends to be, and then you see the bounce, you're like, oh, sweet. Like, okay, finally it gets to go up. So it's an easy buy to chase. So yeah, there's a chance that I'm wrong. And this, now that NASDAQ got to here, this thing wants to just rip. Totally a chance. Or there's a chance that this thing bounced like it just did, and then it wants to just go, I don't know why I did that, but then it wants to go lower, and then now do its thing. So something like this is kind of what I think is happening. So this instead ended up doing this, and I think we have this last one left. Patience, my friends, patience. NQ still charging. Yeah, that was the trade, right? NQ dropping 300 points. All right, so now we're starting to push below here. Looks like it's starting to fight. So like I said, I'm going to take a swing at this right here. Right around this area. There is two options to this, though. I could be wrong. Obviously, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. If this were to no, do not go up yet. That would be diabolical. No way. All that time? Oh, that would be rough. Starting to see it, right? Lose a little momentum. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just throw a little contract at it. Just a little contract. Just so I'm in. Something like... oh, that's the wrong button. So within the zone, that way, there it goes. That way we, even if it's like, I think it's only like 10% of my trade, but look at how NQ is still dropping. It's going to get to the absolute extreme here, it looks like. Absolute extreme. Once NQ is in here, from here, I feel like we have basically, that's going to be as low as it's going to, as YM is going to get. So I'm actually going to cancel my limit order, and I am going to, in a little bit, I'm going to start to market execute instead on YM. Okay. Whoa. Here we go. Whoa, here we go. Okay. So I just opened half of my position here a little early. And all right, now this trade is fully active. Think the market can reverse from here. Now there's two scenarios though. So let's say this just doesn't play out, okay? The other idea that I have, in case that one doesn't, would be if it keeps going, so let's just say it goes through, and then it takes out the Asian lows. Then if we were to see the market give us very little low demand and come back up, then I would take a position like this. But that's just if this one, let's say, doesn't play out. Because there's definitely a chance, right? Let's say NQ wanted to go lower or something, and it wanted to just whatever. Then that's totally fine. All right, so right now we saw it play into this area. It's back in prof. Let's just say around entry. Now let's see. The plus side of a trade like this on YM is the fact that if this is ready to fully reverse, it's got a long way to go on NQ, and it's got a long way to go with YM. And let's just take a look at ES here real quick. ES got below this in this imbalance. This I don't love, but all right. Overall, things are coming together. All right, Dow now in profit about 30 points. Fantastic. So, okay, we're looking good here. This is now, hold on, real quick. Trade management is very, very important. So this was about a 55-point drop. Right now, it looks like we're seeing a 50, same thing, about a 50-point drop. So I'm going to start to reduce my risk. So I'm going to start tightening up my stop loss here. Yeah, start tightening this up a little bit. Don't need to have too much more exposure. If you took this setup right now, you should be sitting at around a 1R. We did break above a 1R, but right now we're sitting slightly under. And yeah, my goal is worst case to fill the rest of this imbalance. So you guys saw step by step how this trade played out, or is playing out. It's not over. And then if you wanted to reduce your risk, I think it's a good idea. So instead of going, having a full loss, you could bring it down to having not even half your risk still in. That's what I would do, or at least tighten up to like here. So you just take some off the table. Yeah, that would be my perspective here. Okay. All right, chat. What's good? How are we feeling in here? We got the chat going. Let me see some. If you're in profit, right, for Tradetopia, we got to call it's TP, right? Tradetopia, TP. Put some TPs in the chat if you're up. One last push. Are you in Dow buys? Yeah. Yes, I am. All right, look at this. NQ played out of that lower zone that we talked about. So that aligned well. Looks like it's starting to bounce. TP's in the chat. All right. Let's go. Perfect. Good stuff, guys. Now, this doesn't mean, it's going to play out perfectly and it's going to go up forever. That's why we have to manage the trade. What you don't want to get caught up in is just getting too hopeful. You start moving your stops all over the place, up and down and up and down. So you want to manage this effectively. We got a good bounce so far. So here, now we're at a point where the market, like your trade, at least for me, I'm no longer at a full R risk here. Now this is dropping pretty aggressively, so let's see if it wants to just fill in balance and then push higher. Otherwise, like I mentioned earlier, for all we know, right, this could go lower and we look for a different opportunity. I just don't know. I have a question about the sweep of liquidity and YM trade. Shouldn't we wait for a sweep of London low before entering the trade there? I didn't, because this did sweep liquidity. Like we did have liquidity build up during Asian and London. So that took out those lows. So that's why I went for the setup, and we got the mitigation. Like very clearly we saw the exchange from sellers to buyers. But that's why I said there's a possibility that we still see, that we could see something like this happen, where it breaks the low, then we see it just eat this up. And let's say this could just be a sweep of the liquidity, lures and sellers, and then it comes right back up. And so if we were to see something like this, then we would take our buy, or at least this is how I would take it, if this just doesn't hold up, which is totally possible. So something like that, that's how I would manage this trade. Because at the end of the day, my goal is just to position myself into opportunities, the qualified opportunities. So right now, looks like here, look, okay, there we go. So this for me was a reduced risk loss. So I ended up, for this for me, was just less than it needed to be, which is fine. Like I was okay with letting this breathe in order to go further. So for me now, I'm not going to take this any longer. I'm not doing anything else there. Cool. I could have gone just break even and lost nothing, but instead lost like 0.3R. So not a big deal. Now is, instead of wanting to make anything back, do anything impulsive, let the market give us information. And I had a feeling, remember I said, you know what, one thing that is kind of throwing me off was exactly what you mentioned, is could we still take out the Tokyo lows? But the other thing for me was this. Check this out. It's ES. I wonder if we're going to see the market get into here. Like, this is what I'm curious about. Because remember, like I said, it's like a chess game. There's always different things happening, different places. So my thought was, do we get down to here with ES? So this has to get some imbalance fill. And then can the market go? So, yeah, just curious. Right now, we're starting to see, it came back down. Came back up again. What's it going to do? So, yeah, we'll see. But this was, in my opinion, a mitigation. Got like 72 points. Came all the way back down. One more push lower. Got to the right there. Coming right back up again. So if you did just keep your stops open, maybe you're still in this. I'm not in this anymore. I'm going to wait and see if I get a new trade, a new setup to take something. If I don't, then it is what it is. I might get, we might get a different shift in structure. We get higher highs, and then we can look for a new entry. But I'm not going to chase this trade here. I'm not going to just, oh, no, I got stopped out. But, well, I still think it could go higher. So you know what? Let me just get in. It's like, well, do you actually have information, new information that gives you absolute clarity on the trade, that gives you, conviction on this idea? And it's not just like, oh, well, I believe it's, well, does the market show you? Like, are you getting actual proof? Or are you just chasing your emotions? But I waited all this long. I waited an hour or 45 minutes for this trade. Let me just get in there. No, like, look, that's not what this is. This is not gambling. This is not the slots. It's not a slot machine. So even now, like, okay, think about this. Think about it this way. You could take an entry now, and if that happens, you don't really have any reason to, right? At least if you're following my system, then you're just trading just to get in. Because you're like, well, I think it's going to go higher, so fuck it. Let me get in there. But what's the difference if you just let the market do its thing? So let's say right now, right? Right now we see this keep going higher. So let's say we get this instead. Instead of just chasing it now, what's the difference of letting it go higher, letting it trade sideways, prove that it's bullish, and then maybe it gives you the entry here later, and then you can take it? Like, what's the difference of getting this instead? You still get an entry around the same price or better, and you have more confirmations that it could actually play out, rather than chasing your feelings. So this is my approach. It's like, okay, like for this one, right? And these ones could kind of sting a little bit. You're like, oh, dude, I had a good trade, I had a good entry, and then I was in profit, turned around, stopped me out, break even, or reduce risk, and then now it's in profit again. So, but if it already did, for example, at least for me, my rules are, like, my trade management rule has everything to do with the information that I've built over the course of years and how I can reduce, like, big losses, or how I can protect my money. So in that case, in those examples, I'm already seeing that if it, does what it did here, then my rules tell me I should move my stop. Sometimes it comes back down, still stays within the zone, and then does what it just did. This happens sometimes. I'm okay with that. I've seen this happen before. So when this happens, I'm not going to chase anything. I'm just going to let it give me another setup that still would prove the direction, and that's fine. That's one thing. Or take a look at this. For all we know, NQ might give another setup, could give a different setup. Look, NQ right now is actually trading more bullish than Dow. We saw the sweep down. up, down, up. Now, I wouldn't go ahead and just chase this right away, but look at how precise we got with this. I literally said from way the fuck up here, 300 points away, I said, we wait until it gets to these levels. It should line up exactly with Dow, and then we can take the position. Like, do you see the levels of precision from hundreds of points away? Play by play, different assets, correlations, the market behavior. Like, do you guys see that? Doesn't YM look like it cleared the liquidity for a distribution? You're talking about here? Well, first of all, we're still bullish. Either like this is still like we gotta not really get too caught up with the smaller time frames. So depends. Despite it taking out the highs here and then losing momentum here, this is still reaccumulating here. We're not even breaking this low. Like we haven't even there's like no shift in structure yet on the 1 hour, let alone the 15. So it keeps losing momentum every time it gets up to here. Absolutely. Absolutely. The difference is that this is holding extremely bullish structure while everything else is melting away. Now, to change up the perspective here, because I want you guys to see something. Look at how price action is shifting now, momentum. NQ or Dow is not holding this high yet. See that? YM here, coming right back down. Nasdaq holding up. So is there a chance that after all of this, now we may have a more bullish NQ? Liquidity, this sweep. Could we see a little bounce out of here? We'll see. So my opinion on YM still stands. I think that if we were to see something like this, then I am down to see this unfold. And for all we know, we might see the price action flip and we might end up shorting. So either that, or if this clears liquidity and we get really down to here and then we see NQ get into this zone, I'll take a buy on NQ and let this thing rip. So let's see it. Let's see it happen. So I'm going to place an alert here on the low on YM and on Tokyo lows. Look how NQ is holding it down while YM is chilling there. All right. Anyways, besides all that, yeah, no trades there. We weren't trading anything there. Now, you guys asked me about a couple other things, so I want to make sure I answer other setups. You guys asked about oil. I haven't gotten to oil yet. Let me take a quick look at silver is chilling. Gold is chilling. All right, oil. Oil is squeezing. A lot of sideways movement right now. We got great movement yesterday when we cleared these lows. Got some highs up here. Came right back down. So at this moment, on oil here, got a little bounce out of this zone, so nothing new there. I think there's liquidity down here. I want to see the market get shaken up a little bit with oil. I think I want to see either like a big move up or a big move down. There's a lot of sideways movement. I don't really want to trade inside of this too much right now. So I want to see either like, just money get liquidated somewhere. So either see something like this. All right, YM just set off an alert. Okay. So, yeah, this looks like it's pushing lower. All right. Remember I said I wanted to see S&P get into this imbalance. It's not over yet, folks. It's not over yet. Need a little more. Want to see London lows get cleared. At that point, Tokyo lows too would be nice. I'm not going to just take this. I'm not looking to take this unless it like actually stays in this area while Dow clears all this. So let's see. It's up in the air for me whether I'm going to take an NQ trade or not. All right. Bleeding through London lows. Okay. Tokyo lows next target for Dow. And Q holding up pretty decent. Ooh, okay. Now the London lows here, like this could hold up. This could hold up. It might only want to take out London and then it runs. That's a possibility. But to play it, I'd say just safe. Taking out that Tokyo low. All right, so look. Now we're seeing YM take out the low. There it is. All right, I like it. I'm in NQ buys. Ran it up. So I took my long here on NQ, Nasdaq. And I got a pretty good entry. So we'll see if this holds on it or not, survives. Let's see. Clearing this low. Beautiful. Ooh, is it going to go for this next one too? Looks like it might. And that's the thing. Will it? And will it hold? All right. So now we've seen this cleared out a lot of liquidity, like I mentioned before. Taking out these lows as well. From here, I feel good about this. So one of two scenarios can unfold. Now that Dow has cleared out tons of liquidity, fantastic. This could now create this setup here. So it looks like for now, it kind of looked like that. So we're seeing this portion happen, play by play. Honestly, NQ is not really doing too much. It's like kind of just chilling, which I'm not totally surprised about because obviously it's been so bearish this whole time. So not totally surprised. Dow could be the one that just brings in a lot more momentum. So either way, this is a small trade. This was very tight. 23, 24 point stop. So let's see where we go from here. Okay. Don't love that. Look at how the structure is flipping now. Dow holding up more bullish, and Q working its way down. So if you're seeing this switch up in price action and you want to just wait for Dow, then exit NQ and wait for Dow to give you the setup. Because it's looking like exactly kind of what we first saw here. We saw the move, sweep of liquidity. It's now starting to move. Everything else is lining up pretty nicely. So if you want to just wait for this one, then you can just say, you know what, I don't want to deal with NQ. I'll wait for Dow to give the setup. But everything's looking pretty much to a T how we had this drawn up. We do have to obviously let the market give us the rest of the confirmations. You don't just guess, you don't assume, you don't let your mind tell you like, oh yeah, this is what's gonna happen. Let me just get in. Now if I was really bold, I would have just taken the trade on Dow when it cleared the low, and I could have just been like, you know what, everything else is lining up. Fuck it, we're just going to take Dow at the absolute low. Could have just said that, honestly. The difference would have been, where do you place your stop in that scenario? Like, where does that happen? So, okay. Right now we're seeing the push to the downside showed very little signs of that the market actually wanted to trade here. So low demand over here, came down, came right back up. So we see that the market doesn't really want to trade below 44,875. There's not a lot of need for exchange of price over here. So now that it's coming back up, this is a very much looking like a quintessential shakeout setup, liquidity swept, markets over here. So now if we keep trading sideways, hold this up for a bit longer, then then I'm down for the move. Now we just wait for a little bit more confirmation. This, in my opinion, looks pretty good though. So let me just delete that real quick. Less noise. Price goes down. We go back up here. Sometimes, these are like what we're seeing right now. These kind of just happen right away, come right back down, and then they go and make their move. This is a decision for you guys to. You can build a bigger consensus on this, on whether it's worth it to you to just take it now or take it later. But yeah, there we go. So that's what I kind of figured was going to happen. Quick move down, just gets eaten up, flies. Plays out of this little order block right there. And now this thing could probably rip. So that's a nice little play right there. Now here's the thing. I think we could still get an entry here. It might just take more movement. Let it come up to here. Let's say we go maybe like up here. And then we might just come back down to this little imbalance. And then from there, off we go. Look at the difference in price though. YM really starting to push. NQ chilling. Big chilling. So I would much rather have an opportunity for a long with Dow than to continue to hold this. So personally, I'm and when the market squeezes like this, obviously like you could see it start to explode either up or down. Remember what I was showing you with ES? So ES actually did end up coming right into here. Right into this little imbalance. Just tapped in there. So NQ, I think the safe thing to do with Nasdaq, if you took the buy, honestly, would be to get out, because clearly there's more bullish momentum with Dow Jones, with YM, than there is with NQ. And then let this thing, you know, build up the way it's doing so right now. This way you just don't get caught up in, you know, like getting wicked out or something. Yo creo que es mejor idea no estar en Nasdaq, esperar que nos dé el retroceso Dow y de ahí podemos dispararle al mercado. All right, perfect. Okay, so we're doing the thing. Now it's obviously no guarantee that it pulls back, but it's lining up for it. So how are you guys enjoying the play-by-play of like how all of this has worked out? Does it feel like you're almost able to predict the market? Bought Dow at 44,864. Nice. Okay, so you caught this little dip here. Perfect. Love that. Yeah, I think the next entry zone would be in here. So this was, all right, mitigation, filled that, we took care of that. Now we are here. Getting tacos today, nice. All right, so like I mentioned with NQ, to hold off on that to close out. That's what I did, and I'm just gonna wait for my opportunity here with Dow. So now that after we swept the low and we've worked our way higher, we've been climbing on up here for the last 10 minutes or so. Came right into this zone again. So I feel like we could go sideways a little bit, dip down, and then make our next move. Based on everything else we're seeing here, like this is what I wanted to see with ES. Like everything has to be in harmony. So I kind of want to see this push a little lower. Get into like just dropping a couple more points, because then it's like, okay, this is rebalanced. Everything can now rip. Okay, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying. Beautiful. S&P in the imbalance. YM. Ready to roll. A trade like this, I'm not placing my stop here. I'm definitely looking. I have my stop at the bottom. I'm not playing around like that. So about a 45-point stop. We saw S&P drop into the zone. Actually, just tapped into this. I could see it go lower. It's possible. Oh. And if it goes a little lower, cool. Got kind of all this range to work into. Now the question is this enough? Market comes down, grinds its way up to here. We've been trading beyond this low for now, what is that, 12 minutes or so? Is this enough demand to take a position here? This is an iffy one. We don't get a ton of demand up here. But a lot of other things are lining up. So with a setup like this, let's go ahead here. We see we already have strong levels of support over here, a strong demand, support. All of this zone has been trading here before. We captured the higher time frame liquidity, including the low that was over here as well. So there is a lot that is adding, confirmation to this. We are seeing ES. I wanted to see ES go a little bit lower. So if you want to be extra patient and you're okay with possibly missing out, or if you just want to introduce a little bit of risk into this trade, maybe 0.25% or half of what you have available, and see if S&P goes a little bit lower and that creates a better entry for you, then I don't think that's a terrible idea. But yeah, I am in this though. I'm in this so far with half my risk. I have a feeling it could just go a little bit lower. Meanwhile, we got NQ still down there. Okay. All right, YM starting to make some moves. Play it into the imbalance. Okay. Okay, so how would I manage this trade? Let's say this goes in our favor. How do we go about, when do I move my stops to break even? And for me, it's about the previous high. So for example, if this is luring in sellers and then it makes, a break retest and it lures in more sellers, then where would the stop losses be? You'd have stop losses over here, and you'd have stop losses over here. So if the market were to go, and if it's going to take out like money, then it would either take out this or take out over here. And that's what I'm basically aiming for right now. So yep, that's what I see here. So look at this. Now, deep pullback with Dow. But look at where ES is. This is what I'm talking about. Now that S&P is here, I feel significantly more prepared for this trade. And I think from here we could run. And if not, then, the funny thing is this was a smaller loss, the half to reduce risk. Here again, I'm still holding this trade. So let's see where we go with this. And then I introduced the other half of my risk right here. So I'm averaging around like 44,860 right now. Volatility kicking in. S&P I could consider already now starting to rebalance this. So very healthy, efficient market there. That's good news. We got Dow starting to pump from here. Great. So after dollar cost average, well, after 2 entries, I'm averaging over here. Now we're starting to pump. Beautiful. Patience pays, my friends. Patience pays. Okay, now we let this thing just do its thing. Okay, so big move on up into here. So the volatility is starting with an aggressive move like this one. What do you guys think? Do you immediately move your stop? Market is efficient here, rebalanced here. Comes up, flying up, comes right back down. You are trading 1 minute time frames. So is there a chance that it goes lower? Right now, I want to let it just kind of break out. Like I said, I wanted to at least clear this, because if money's going to come in, then it's going to push towards some sort of previous stops, which in my opinion is at least this. So now my trade is I'm going for at least up here. There's a lot of liquidity building up right now. This is the liquidity at stake at the moment. Big move up, market comes down, goes up again. If you want to reduce your stops, be my guest. If you want to just let it breathe, also very much understandable. Let's look at ES over here. So came into that imbalance, really nice. And then, look, I think we made a really good call in getting out of this NQ trade. So that's us adapting to the market sentiment, price action. So really good stuff there. If you made that decision, well done. All right, let's see if we now just rebalance and rip from here. So my stop ended up being after the 2 entries and averaging out around a little over 30 points. This is currently at a 1R right now for me. How are you guys trading this one so far? Are you guys learning something? Are you kind of like putting pieces together here? Equal lows on CFDs? Yeah, I don't really care about CFDs and what it's doing on CFDs. That doesn't really make a difference to me. CFDs, because the data feed on CFDs is going to be different on every single broker. The brokers basically decide how they want to print those candles with CFDs. With futures, it's like there's just one regulated price data, and that's where it's sourced from. So, yeah. So yeah, it doesn't really matter if it's what it's doing with CFDs. So yeah, with this idea, whether it holds up here or it doesn't, I'm going to just keep my eye on this because we have higher time frames that are overall lining up really well. So let's say we were to break below again. I wouldn't just shoot at it, but I would be open to just new opportunities. CFDs is forex? No. CFDs is it's contracts for difference. So it's just a platform that you use and how the brokers are made. So you just, you make money based off of the difference in the movement. CFDs is if you're trading MetaTrader, TradeLocker, MatchTrader, if you're using those brokers, yeah, it's just basically just different platforms, different regulations, where it comes from. Similar to options? No. No, definitely not at all like options. CFDs is just like this. It's just literally different platforms. It's like this. It's same, but not same. You know. Are you on MetaTrader or TradeLocker? I do have accounts with MetaTrader. I don't have accounts with TradeLocker. And then I have futures accounts. Do you trade options? Rarely, very rarely. There definitely it's way more complex. Yeah, join the school for sure. If you guys are here and you're not in the free community, come check it out. Check out the community. Here, I'll put it up on the screen real quick while we're waiting for all of this to go down. But yeah, check out the community on the left. If you want to see like step by step, like yesterday we had such an awesome session on the shakeout setup with our syndicate. We went ham, dove deep in there, got some examples. So if you want like that thorough work, then scan the code on the right, book a call there so that you can see what that's all about. If you're like, how did this guy like predict all of these things happening today? Then you want to be able to do it for yourself. Scan the code on the right to be in our close-knit community there. Otherwise, if you want to just enjoy the resources, if you want to make your next 5K with our resources totally for free and just, figure out if this is even for you, then scan the code on the left. That's a free community. And, keep plugging into these sessions. So, yeah, I'll leave that there for a couple more seconds. And then a link for the trading journal template. Yeah, actually, there's actually either you can go to tradetopia.store or in the school, in the free community, in the classroom section, you can just buy it there. There's like a little like module for it. So I'll show you. So you can either go to tradetopia.store. So here you go. So you can either go there, scan that, and you can get it there. Or, so I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. That's where you have all the vault. That's where you have everything. Otherwise, if not, and you'd rather just go straight to the source, then in the classroom here, you can check out, there's a section, Tradetopia Trading Journal. So you should be able to just unlock this here if you buy it, and then you'll have the link to it right there. So either way it works. All right, cool. So this is still squeezing significantly. This may or may not go in our favor. If it does, then this should be a pretty big move. If it doesn't, and it wants to make another low, I'm still looking forward to this. So for example, I would still look for a similar scenario where the market could just like, do this, blah, 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 basically same sort of idea. Right now, what I'm doing here is my stop is still open. So I still have my stop loss right here. So I'm just at a one, if it loses, it's a 1R loss. So I'm still just kind of holding it down. But if it gets stopped out, I would still wait for a similar scenario because everything else is lining up pretty nicely. We got ES to get into this imbalance. So if it does play out, I feel good about it. How do you get the bars on the line while you're drawing? It's called the ghost feed. Okay. Now, before I wrap up here, this has been a long-ass session. But before I wrap up, let's see if I was right about Bitcoin. Hold on. I need to see if I called it or not. Let's see. My thought process for the syndicate, you guys, we went over this last night. It was take out the lows, and then if we get a shakeout, we're in business. So we took out the lows here. Yep. All right, cool. So exactly what we had in mind here. Take out the lows here. People are going to look to here. They'd get stopped out of this one. So take that out and then see how it unfolds. So nice. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, this is looking solid. Beautiful. So crypto longs looking like possibilities here soon. And then dogs did similar process. ETH, where's ETH? ETH had a similar zone, spiked down, just mitigated ETH, and then it's ripping. Looks like it actually created a second setup too. So ETH longs look good if you guys trade on crypto or exchanges of any sort. And then ETH came all the way down. ETH was a textbook shakeout too. Look at this. I was a little late. I was working on a lot of stuff here, but ETH clears out tons of liquidity here. This was the dip down. Plays into structure. Immediately goes up. So we see a shift in momentum. So we see that, right? Market keeps going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. We trade over here during London. We just see the crash alongside Nasdaq and Dow. Plays into the imbalance. And just like that, you see the market mitigate. So if you're a crypto trader, you probably were witnessing this one happen. And this all lined up beautifully. Okay. Nice. Good stuff, guys. In my opinion, I think these are the lows. If you wanted to buy crypto on your portfolio, this would be a good time to do it. Sol, ETH, Dog, whatever. I think we could get some pretty aggressive movement from here. If you're selling your crypto now, respectfully, I think you're fucking up. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But that's my update. I think from here we bottom out with cryptos for a bit. You're already starting to see it. Look at this. Chainlink already just absolutely ripping. Not surprised. A whole bunch of other stuff will do similar. Now, before I go, stocks should have seen a good meltdown. Intel gapped up even higher. Now it's dropping. Probably, like I said, also with stocks, if there's something in your zone that you're interested in, this would be the right time to get involved more than likely. CLFD is still waiting for another drop, so I'm not getting in there yet. Let's see what else has something. Celsius still cooking. Took some profits on Celsius. ENPH, if you wanted entries here, we'll probably see it drop back under 34 for a little bit. Webull at areas where I like for buys as well. So if you wanted to get into Webull some more, definitely this is a good one. This is a good area to get in for me. Obviously, all I tell you guys is what I do. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, right there. This looks great for more entries. I just remembered I can actually margin trade on this broker. Let's see. Do I have a Webull in here? That would be sick. Bull. No, I don't. Damn, that sucks. So yeah, I'm gonna hold for Dow. I'm gonna hold this buy. If it runs, I'm gonna be holding this for a good time. At least a small position. So I like Webull entries. Robinhood probably rips from here again. And look at this. Here we had a sell-off. Here again. Here's another move right there. Okay, so before I go here, Kindrel's still in the zone. Is not doing shit, so still in buy zones. But to update the trade that we have going on right now on Dow, we're hovering in profits, trading around 30 points above entry. Once it takes, if let me rephrase, if it takes out this high here, then I would be looking to just adjust stops to either the previous low or even a break even if you're not trying to deal with any of that. Then that's how I would approach this one. I do think this has room to run, in my opinion. So wouldn't be surprised if we get back up into this range, and that would be a 5.5 R trading up into this level. So I feel good leaving you guys with this trade running, like 1.5 R? Just about, a little under at the moment. We can see this thing go even further. Clearing right now, it's clearing, this trend line liquidity. I think at least it takes out these highs. But obviously now that it's squeezed and we've seen anyone building up sell positions, you're starting to see some get stopped out here. Others should get stopped out there. And then you have not just the liquidity, but remember, if there was a break and retest trader, then they took their sells like here, somewhere over here. So a lot of the stops are actually going to be right there and at the high of New York session, which is right here. So if this is really going to liquidate as many people as possible, the market would actually target the New York highs today. Again, we're only 90 minutes into New York session, so there's a lot of time for chaos to ensue here. And NQ and ES have quite a bit that they could still recover on the day. So this could be, in my opinion, I think this is one of those days where we start the day bleeding out, and then we end up the day ends up like basically super bullish. It eats up majority of the drop. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up back over here somewhere at the end of the day with NQ 23,330, like another like 250 points or something. But yeah, there we go. YM Dow pushing to the upside. We are officially about to break above these highs. So we're approaching a 2R. I know many of you have a strict 2R exit rule. If you do, I love that you're following that. I love that you're going through with it. Keep at it for sure. We've now successfully taken out the previous high here. Here's where sells start to get introduced to the market. So this is definitely going to take out some stops. At this point, I do believe that adjusting your stop loss, protecting your capital, at least reducing your risk, makes a lot of sense. And so some of you successfully hit your just shy of a 2R, depending on where you got in. Let me know. Let me see in the chat one more time. Put some W's, some TPs in the chat if you're up in profit. Let's see it. Learning a lot, Mike. Took some L's this week after a profitable last week. That's okay. That's all for me, 2R. Nice. ¿Podrías hablar eso en español? Básicamente, está capturando liquidez. Entonces, aquí es donde hay stop losses de los que entran en las ventas, que estaban entrando. Aquí ya empiezan a perder esos vendedores. Entonces, estos son puntos de ganancias predecibles por aquí. Aquí realmente es donde hay la mayoría de los stop losses. Los que entraron en ventas por aquí ponen su stop loss en el último alto anterior, que sería aquí hay liquidez. Entonces puede ir capturando aquí esta liquidez. Creo que es muy, muy probable. Y al final del día, mucha gente que empezó a vender, cuando empezó a caer todo, tienen su stop loss arriba de los altos de la sesión de Nueva York. Por eso creo que muy probable que esto elimina estos altos hoy. Y que esto sigue por encima. Break even still running. Nice. Profit. Good stuff. Love it, guys. Absolutely love it. I have one last favor from you guys. one last favor. And hold on, I gotta find the link. If it loads for me, then I'll send it. Otherwise, I might not be able to today. Let's see. Let me just double check this link works. I forgot about this link. One second. Where is this thing? Don't worry about it, guys. All right. Well, enjoy the gains. Enjoy the profits. If you got some wins, drop it in the community. We want to see you. We want to celebrate you in here. And then from there, I want you guys to dive into just the classroom, journal your trade. I would recommend you revisit this whole session. If you want to learn, I think you can learn so much just in this one session alone. So, guys, appreciate you for hopping on today. If you're not already, if you haven't liked and subscribed, we appreciate it. If you want to tag us online, whether it's myself or Tradetopia's page, also definitely appreciate that. And then if you're not in our communities already, then you should be. So cool. Enjoy it. I'm going to leave some music playing. You guys already know. We got the jams here. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out, squad. Peace and love.
said, who's that girl there? I wonder what went wrong so that she had to roam the streets. She doesn't do major credit cards, I doubt she does receipts. It's all not quite legitimate. And what a scummy man. Just give him half a chance, I bet he'll rob you if he can. Can see it in his eyes, yeah, that he's got a driving ban amongst some other offences. And I've seen him with girls of the night, and he told Roxanne to put on her red light. They're all infected, but he'll be alright, 'cause he's a scumbag, don't you know? I said he's a scumbag, don't you know? I'm sorry, love, I'll have to turn you down. Oh, we must be up to summer. What are the chances? Sure, it's more than likely. I've got a feeling in my stomach. I start to wonder what his story might be, what his story might be. Yeah, 'cause they said it changes when the sun goes down. Yeah, they said it changes when the sun goes down. And they said it changes when the sun goes down. Around here, around here. Conspicuous, and he doesn't even have to say, oh, she's in the stands ready to get picked up. Bet she's delighted when she sees him, pulling in and giving her the eye, because she must be fucking freezing, scouting and clapping with the clear night sky. It does stuff in the winter now, and they said it changes when the sun goes down. Yeah, they said it changes when the sun goes down, and they said it changes when the sun goes down. Around here, they said it changes when the sun goes down. Over the river going out of town. And they said it changes when the sun goes down. Around here, oh. And what a scummy man. Just give him half a chance, I bet he'll rob you if he can. You see it in his eyes, yeah, that he's got a nasty plan. I hope you're not involved at all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on the next stream. Peace.